Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm sort of all together and ready and waiting to go to church this Easter Sunday. And I would like to wish you all a happy Easter, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I thought while I was waiting, and I'm sitting here in the sun, and I hope that doesn't create a shadow for you, but anyway, I think it is creating a little shadow, but I'm right in the sun and I really can't get out of it, so unless I move over, maybe I can move like this. How's that, folks? That any better? Anyway, I thought I'd sit here with you while I got myself ready really early for some reason. A lot earlier and faster than I normally do. So I thought what I'd do is kind of just sit down with this little painting for a little bit. Again, like I said, this is Easter Sunday, and I'm about ready to head out to church. But I'm early, so we're going to just continue here with this beautiful flower arrangement and just sort of paint, the wet on wet in a lot of the areas. I'm mostly using wet on wet in this. And right now, I thought I would do some, whoa, that had water in it. That's a little thing it's a good example in time for me to show you what happens when there's too much water. So I had too much water in that. So, as you can see, as soon as I put that down, it was like a blob. So you have to make sure, I had just sprayed my paints, and I think I have just a little too much paint in water in that one. So I think I'm just going to grab a tissue and pull some of that out. Because you need to spray your paints before you begin. But unfortunately, in some instances, you get too much water and the paints are a little drier than you thought. And they don't, soak it up quite as much, and so you get a big blob. So, okay, that's no problem. You then just go and take the water off your brush and just continue on. Wipe it off on the towel and then continue on. So we're just gonna continue with this little leaf here in a wet on wet fashion. I'm using some different colors here, and then I'm blotting in. I really had a lot on my brush there for this yellowy area, but you know what? I make it work. So we're just gonna go back in with some green, and we're just gonna add that in. So I wanted it nice and yellowy anyway. Okay, that's good. I'm using some purple. What I like to do is use the colors that I have in my painting. I've mentioned this before, but in case you didn't see any of the other ones, I like to use the colors in my paintings that into the leaves, especially into the leaves. I like to add those colors. And right now I'm just really grabbing a bunch of different greens and see what kind of... Once you have a certain amount of knowledge in your head for colors, for color blends and things that blend, colors that blend together, you can, like, I'm not blending on my palette. I am and I'm not at the same time. Like, I know what colors I like with what colors, what they're going to look like, when I put them in. For instance, this pink right here. Whoop. Went out of the lines, folks. I'm grabbing the pink, rose, I think it is, and I'm just sort of adding it in here. I know fairly much what it's going to look like when it goes onto the paper. So I'm not worried. I just want to add that color in because I have this color already in my flowers, right? So that's what's good, is to get some of your colors to make to what painters call harmony in your paintings. So it's pretty. I think it's very pretty. I'm going to get a little darker green though down here, and then we'll go back. And so anyway, I hope you have, hope whatever you do for your plans for today, if you have any plans. Sometimes it's just a really nice rest day for people. So whatever your day is going to bring for you today on Easter Day, I hope it's a beautiful day for you. Hope that we're having some pretty good weather here today. So hopefully wherever you are, it is a nice weather day. I know there's some iffy weather everywhere, so I hope wherever you are, it's kind of nice. You get to enjoy it to some degree. So I just thought this would be a really nice painting. I started it the other day. I just got back from visiting family in Massachusetts, so I'm sort of, and then I had a function yesterday, and with some fun ladies I know. We all had a luncheon type thing, which was really nice. Love those ladies. So as you can see, I'm just, I'm not going fast. I'm taking my time with this. I just want it to last for as long as it lasts. And I'm not rushing it, as I said. I put some yellow ochre in here. I don't know, there's something about this leaf I'm not liking. As you can see, I keep going back into the leaf. I think it's because of what I started out with. I didn't start out with the, or if I did, I lost it somewhere along the way. So I'm kind of coming back in and seeing what I can do with it, which happens a lot in painting. Excuse me. And I hope I don't lose my voice today, but it's sounding like it's a high probability at some point. And I'm just adding a little white in here, and it's acrylic white. I wanted to, well, this is what happens sometimes, folks. We don't get the effect we actually were looking for. And it happens. In fact, it happens all the time. Not all the time, but, it's going to happen. And this is good. I don't mind, something like this happening when I'm trying to show you stuff at all, because, so I'm just, I'm choosing other colors, blending different colors on my palette, and see, what I can come up with and what I'm going to be happy with. And at some point, it just might be where I have to say, well, that's the way I'm going to leave it. Because if we fiddle too much, we can end up really ruining everything. So, oh, there you go. Now, see, there's a perfect example. That's kind of the color green I was sort of looking for in there. Painting is fun, and especially when you don't take it so seriously that, you can't have fun. I take painting seriously because I love it. It's a passion. But I also give myself the grace to know that I can make mistakes if I want, and if it happens, and that's just absolutely fine. It's all part of the painting process. Nobody is perfect. So, there's going to be all these little moments where there's going to be mistakes, and we just go with it, and we change it, fix it, make it different. It's entirely up to you. It's nothing to get stressed about is the point really that I'm making. I'll come back in here just for a little darker right in this area, and up next to the flower a little bit. Well, anyway, that's so another way you know, to get your, if you didn't leave a white space, say, which I didn't there, and I realized that. So I just made that leaf bigger. I took an edge and put it on this leaf I already had going and left a little white there at the top. I also used some acrylic white. You can do whatever you want. You can go back in, create something different. Excuse me. And you can also do what I just did, which is create another layer, so to speak. And I created another edge, which then gave me the opportunity to add an area for a white space, and that's perfectly fine. Absolutely fine. Trying to get the shadow areas, and the leaves have these dark areas, in them sometimes. That's what I'm trying to make here, and it's one of these moments. It's going to be done, like that moment right there. So that's it for that. That's the way I'm leaving it. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, it's morning, so I start talking, I start losing my voice. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to get some green, mixing it in my palette. And right here we need to, whoops, I didn't get enough green, but you know what, I like that. So sometimes you can do something, and because of all the colors on your palette, which I happen to love, we will get these. It's actually how I make a lot of color blends that people seem to want to know how in the world I do it. The color, how did I get those colors? Well, that is mainly how I do a lot of blending on my palette, which ends up making these beautiful blends, which I end up, putting into my painting. So that's one thing I do. I'm not going to take too much time on this because the time is getting on. But I did want to come on and do a little bit of this one. There will be another part to this one, so I will be coming back on with this one to do it again, to do some more. And I'm going to add some of this, what's turned into burgundy on my palette, into some of my stems. Don't want this to go too long. So I think I'll come down here to this particular leaf. See if I can get this into the camera. I think I'm in the camera. It's so hard to tell with this position of the camera. And I wanted to get a fairly darker green going on here with some other colors, as you can see. Can you see those other colors? I've got some yellow ochre in there. I've got some burgundy color that I had mixed up. There it is, it's coming out now. And this is what I love about the color mixtures, is that such beautiful color blends can come from just, I don't wipe down wipe off the palette while I'm painting. I just keep those colors on there, and I keep adding and keep blending. And I mean, it's on different parts of the palettes, but but I still use it. I use these colors, and therefore you get all these blends from the different colors that that I have sitting on the palette. I'll rub into this one and rub into that one, and I'll get, some sort of color blend, which I just love that. And I find, like I said, that people ask me, I love your color blends. How did you get them? Well, that's how. That's that's how it happens, folks. I love the blends of colors. This is a thing about watercolor that I think most of us fall in love with. Basically, is the beautiful blends that happen, and then the excuse me, the darks and the lights that come. You know, that you do. You want to have your darks and your lights. And I know for a fact that I'm going to lose my voice, and the time is going on for me to get going. So again, I am certainly and surely hoping that you all have a marvelous Easter day, wherever you are, if you're by yourself or if you're with someone. If you're not with someone, it doesn't matter. Have a blessed, wonderful day. And bye for now.